Welcome to Crossroads Callings. I am your host, Chimere Brown, and this is the podcast dedicated to navigating life's pivots and discovering a pathway to true purpose and calling. Today, I am joined by a person that embodies music and rhythm. He is a drummer, singer, writer, musician, producer, and he has shared the stage with the likeness of Lupe Fiasco, Syleena Johnson, Avery Sunshine, just to name a few. He is the force behind the Verzatile Band, and if you've been a part of the Chicago music scene or even at the Lazyburg Hoxton in the past couple of years or so, you are very, very familiar with this gentleman. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Paul Hall.
Crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild. Maybe I'll put a clap track in there or something. But thank you so much for coming to the show.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so I met you when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
In church, because we're church kids.
Yeah, yep.
And there was a gap in time when we kind of lost, track of each other. And then we saw each other again as adults. And at that time, you were making headway with Verzatile Band, and you were backing the singers, independent singers throughout the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
But I've always been curious as what's your thread or your path between Sunday worship and high stakes commercial industry corporate band paid musician.
Right.
Because there is a gap there, and there's a good story there.
Yes.
And so I want to take people on this journey from going from church to the mainstream, but still like maintaining your core values. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm down. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be hosting Paul. I have never spoken to him on this level. I think we more so was like, hey, and we were in church. We were church kids, so you didn't really like mix and mingle
right,
that.
Yeah.
So I look forward to hearing more of your story. I hope so that you guys are equally excited too, because Crossroads Callings, it starts now. So you started playing in church at the age of 7.
Right.
And I just wanted to understand how that upbringing, starting off at 7 years old, just playing the drums, because I know you play a world of instruments.
Yeah.
Like, how did that foundational upbringing kind of make you the musician you are today?
Well, taking it back a little further, I played like my first concert at 7, but they actually let me start playing maybe like at 4 years old, and I would sit on my cousin's lap because I couldn't reach the pedals, I was too little, but he let me do the hands, you know what I'm saying? So I was given that opportunity to do that, and man, I was so grateful to be a part of that era of, because church is different now, It's a huge production. It doesn't give that opportunities for kids to like mess up and to do the thing. So I came up in an interesting time where it was like, all right, cool. Here you are, you're given the sticks. We're gonna show you what to do. If you mess up, that's cool, but don't mess up too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I started kind of like really, really getting into it for around 4 and 5. And, my big cousin, he actually went off to college, right? And so I was like, okay, they were like, all right, well, it's on you now, So I was old enough, I could reach the pedals now.
Right, you didn't need the support.
I didn't need the support anymore, and they gave me the opportunity to play my first concert at church, and like from then on, it was just like, all right, I love this. Like I have to build on this. So
who helped you cultivate your talent, and who was the first person to notice that you were musically inclined?
I would actually say my mother. My mother and father were a part of her brother's group. My late uncle, Bishop Aaron Holmes Jr. He had a group in the 80s called the Voices of Joy, and my parents were a part of that group. It was a family choir and community choir in Chicago. And what they would do is they would have their concerts, but all the VHS tapes were at the house, for all the kids out there. VHS, look that up, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so what I would do is pop those into the VCR. That's another thing you should probably look up.
It's amazing how much life has changed you have to insert that in there.
You gotta say it because it's not like this anymore. So I used to put these tapes in, and I used to play to the tapes as the tape played on the TV. And I would play, and I didn't really have a drum kit all the way yet. I had a couple pieces, and I would take some pots and pans and some things and put some things together. And I would be up there 2, 3, 4 years old, just figuring it out, mimicking. That's it. And so she recognized that I was very like, okay, all right. And then her nephew, my cousin, Aaron. She's like, hey, my son, it's time for him to, give him an opportunity. So I was given that opportunity. So I credit my mom and my dad for seeing something that I didn't really see at first, but, just recognizing that I was interested.
Could you talk about some of the growing pains as you begin to decide that you wanted to be a musician as a professional? Because being in church in that time, like you said, there was a lot of grace and you were covered.
Yeah.
But now as you are building your talent and you're trying to go into different rooms and mainstreams outside of the church, what were some of the things that you had to overcome as you were making that transition?
Fear. Overcoming fear. I'm not even going to say overcoming, doing it in fear. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about that, doing it in fear.
Yeah, I had to let me take you back a little bit. Let's go to 94, right? 94, I was playing at church, and we had this was a specific moment. I was playing at church, and we had our annual concert coming up. I had just played 2 years prior in 92 as the drummer, you know what I'm saying? But in 94, they brought in a whole new musicians staff. I played all the rehearsals right up until the night before, and they brought somebody else in. And they made me sit there and watch this other band play and I'm sitting there like, man, I'm not good enough. Immediately in my mind, I felt and knew and believed that the reason that I'm not up there right now is because I'm not good enough. I mean, being an adult now and knowing like, okay, if a music director is brought in, you bring in your own crew.
Yeah.
I know that now, but as a kid, I took that as I'm not good enough. So that seed was planted in my spirit of like, man, I'm coming from the bottom, you know what I'm saying, up to the front. So it's like, okay, it created this nervousness and this fear and this anxiety as it pertains to being a musician. It's like, man, I have to prove something to, people and everything. And that was planted in my spirit at a young age. So I was moving through fear, with fear, and just making it happen.
Nobody restored you at that time, or is that was something you just had to grow through? Because it seems like it followed you.
Yeah, no one restored me. See, I like to tell this story, like back in those days, like back in the 90s, as a kid, and my elders or my uncles, and when you were on that kit or you were playing, even though you were a kid, they didn't treat you like one.
Yeah.
They treated you just like everybody else. If you didn't have it, it's been times my uncle, he used to play the organ, he'll tell you to stop, right? Hey, that's not it. Don't play. And then start the song over. And I'll sit there with tears in my eyes. And it's just like, okay, when you do this, you have to make sure that you got this. You know what I'm saying?
The 90s church was a completely different world. It was almost like Showtime at Apollo when they got to boo kids. Because you remember at a point,
I remember that.
They stopped booing kids.
They stopped booing kids.
But the 90s church, when they were cultivating talents, especially when they wanted to grow something in you, like you said, there was no... Oh my goodness, I'm thinking in the Jamaican terms, but they didn't pet you.
Yeah, it's no compassion.
No.
Yeah. Nope. It's just like, all right, let's go. Like you want to do this? Let's go. You know what I'm saying? And it was no fault of theirs. I knew the school that they come. Looking back at the school that they come from, it is like, okay, it's either you got it or you don't. If you want to do it, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So I was always afraid.
I can see how that births fear. So my next question, because I think of you as a band leader, a maestro.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that somebody called you that before you earned it?
Wow. Do I ever think? You know what?
before you feel like you earned it?
Before I felt like I earned, that's a good question. Like I don't feel like people. I've always been a leader amongst my peers, as it pertains to musicianship, and even when I was in band in school, like being in. People always kind of looked at me as a leader, and I kind of saw out. My mindset was always like on leadership, and like, okay, if I was to do this, like maybe I want to do this, but all of that tenacity, that drive came from like me thinking that I have to prove something.
Yeah.
So I naturally I lead even when I'm not the leader. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get called for events and being just a drummer, I have to literally tell myself like, you're the drummer.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, that leader is been in me for so long. So
do you still feel like you have something to prove?
I don't think I have anything to prove.
Okay.
And I say that to say like, okay, I always say, this is people that know me, I say it jokingly, but I take it to heart. Like whenever I feel like I'm feeling like I have to prove something that settles me all the time, and everybody knows this who works with me, I say this. I said, I'm already married. So I'm already married, so I don't have anything to prove to anyone anymore. So I have I tell myself that, it's like, I'm already married, so it's like that's the biggest thing for me. You know what I'm saying? So it calms me down. Woo-saw. It's like, oh, you already married. You ain't got nothing to prove to nobody else.
Because you already married.
So it's either take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? So but the only thing that I do prove stuff is to myself.
Right.
You know, I'm constantly in like, okay, getting better every day. Like every day, how can I be better? Every year, how can I build on this profession and be more professional and be more of this? It's like it's within myself now.
Right. I do want to talk about like Paul in your early years. I think for most kids, church kids in particular, that transition, those high school, teenage years probably were the hardest years. I know for me, and we can talk about you because you mentioned one of your crossroads is that you won a high school talent show and you were met with boos.
Yeah.
Take me through that time and kind of like, what was the source of that?
Well, the scenario that was placed, me and my guys, we got together. We decided to do the talent show. They do it every year. And this year, actually, my guys came to me and said, yo, we need a drummer. Like, we want to do this talent show. I was like, first of all, I don't want to do that. I just want to go and laugh at everybody, like be in the crowd and hang out.
You just want to enjoy.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But I decided, I was like, okay, cool, we could do it. I had the equipment at home and everything like that, so we rehearsed at my house. Naturally, that's that leadership coming back in. I'm leading it and making it happen. Now, we ended up getting down to the last two people, the second round. It was our band and a popular student. I can't even remember her name. And everybody wanted her to win. She had just did like some Monica song or whatnot. That was back in the day when they used to have the one leg out and like one jean, and then this leg was out. She had all of that going for her and everything.
Right.
And when we did it, and they chose us, the judges, which were teachers, chose us as the leader, as the winners. People booed. Like some people, it was a lot of boos. Some people clap. I'm not gonna say everybody, but those boos.
What did that do to you?
I remember standing on that stage with the lights hitting me and like just taking it in, like, yo, like, man, they don't like us. Like we just killed it. Like,
yeah.
And it's like my spirit was perplexed. I it was like, yo, are we not good enough? Like, but at the same token, it created this drive. I was like a drive, like, nah, bro, I'm gonna show y'all, like, like we can do this. Like the fact that y'all just sat out there and booed us after we just put all this work into, we brought all these instruments here.
Yeah. That didn't come from the band room.
No, that didn't come from the band room.
Yeah.
Like we brought our own instruments here. You got it. So those boos helped shape like that era of Verzatile. You know, it was supposed to just be just the talent show. We were just doing it for the talent show. And then we were like, let's get together a couple times out of the week and just learn some songs and, do some things or whatnot. And it kind of helped shape who we are,
Tell me about, was it at this time were you still playing at church?
Yeah, I've always been playing at church.
Until this day?
To this day, I still play at a church.
How are you balancing your faith and your spirituality as you venture into spaces where people aren't?
Well, I take my faith and spirituality with me. It's been times that I've been on stage and we've performed. Actually, this is a true story. We performed all kind of music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From Beyonce to 2 Chainz. You know what I'm saying? And this one particular moment happened that I'll never forget. This guy, he came up to me at the end. He's like, man, y'all was so good, man. Y'all. I was like, thanks, man. I appreciate you. He's like, no, you don't understand, man. Like, seeing y'all brothers up there, man, y'all give me a reason to live. Like,
really?
And I was like,
wow. Tell me more about that. A reason to live?
A reason to live. And the really you just gave me is the same really I was like looking at him like, yo, like, really?
Really?
Like, he's like, nah, bro.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's deep. Like, and I consider it ministry wherever I go, whatever building or event, or because I feel like the light that I have in my life that I give and is from God.
Yeah.
The gift that he gave to me, if I just kept it inside and contained at the church, you know what I'm saying? It's people out there in the world who need to experience this light. You know what I'm saying? And so in whatever aspect that is, and so it was confirmation for my soul to letting me know that yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I like, some stigmas are out there like that we shouldn't be playing secular music or.
I was gonna bring that up
You know what
because
I'm
coming
saying?
from especially the Black church in particular, you should. There was a time when I was growing up. We're not different in age,
Right?
Well, I couldn't even listen to certain radio stations and certain music, and so the fact that you're playing it, and then you're at that time. We were at your uncle's church. He was a bishop.
Yeah.
So to be allowed and them to give you the freedom and space, like, who gave you permission? Because I almost feel like I would have needed permission.
Well, it goes back to my parents. Like, like they love music. My dad would, he was the assistant minister at my church coming up, but he loved the Temptations. You know what I'm saying? He loved the Miracles. He loved the Stylistics, and so he loved classic soul ballads. And even when he was teaching me how to drive and stuff like that, we would listen to classics all the time. And it was just like, okay, my mom, she loved Aretha, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, the whole nine, and just listening to that, and it was freedom at home. Like if she's cooking, or if it's like a party of some sort, a get together, a barbecue. Yeah, we didn't turn on James Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, James Cleveland, he did his thing.
He did do his thing. Yes.
But, so it gave me. It was a little lighter for me to be able to be like, okay, like I like this and I want to play it. And the transition at home, it wasn't. I didn't have the pressure too much, you know what I'm saying? It was more the pressure of outside people, being like judging, or other people who may be at the church or maybe at this, but at home they encouraged me to the utmost
to keep going.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about those early years, because you said you were booed at the high school talent show, and you said, you know what, we're gonna lock in.
Yeah.
What were those grind years like, and do you still have the original band members from that time that you still play with today? One
or two. Yeah, like my boy Nate that played with me all the time, Nate Theano, he's still with me. And then occasionally my guy, we call him Slim, Terrence Holmes, he still fills in with us from time to time. But yeah, those are like we are still together, still rocking, still making things happen, and all of us have an individual goal as musicians as well. So we still making it happen. So it's all good.
What was your first gig that let you know, like, yeah, we made it? Because what did you do in between time? You just practiced and waited for people to invite you?
Well, here's the deal. I'm glad that's a good question. I mean, you've been asking good questions, but that's a good question. No, we didn't just wait. So at that time, we used to go to a lot of like musicals. They used to have concerts and musicals all over the city. Chicago was full of choirs and
Gospel musicals.
Gospel music all day long. We used to, once we learned how to drive, we was at all of them.
Okay.
And so we wanted the opportunity to be able to play with some of these choirs and play with some of these artists in the gospel realm, because that was elite for us.
Right.
But we weren't really given the opportunity because the line was so long for you to even be given the opportunity. So what we decided to do was, okay, well, let's learn how to play other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so next thing you know, different businesses start calling us, like place Ounce of Prevention, and we would do parades, and we'd be on floats playing and just playing. We even played like people. Some people will say they put us on their program as a band, and we end up playing just the offering. It's like, yo, we rehearsed for 2 days for this.
Right.
But it really, like, we started going another route. First of all, I didn't know anybody that was my age that had a band that was black.
I didn't know anybody your age that had a band either. Like, to this magnitude, no.
Yeah, I didn't know any. So we were in uncharted territory in a sense. And so we really just kind of like, we're going to practice, we're going to do our thing. And next thing you know, you meet one person, you do great somewhere, and it's always somebody else there. And it's like, hey, you guys want to play for this? And next thing you know, we're playing for different things, and we ended up playing for Barack Obama. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was really like you started, it sounded like you started from the bottom up.
Absolutely.
Because playing at offering is nothing. Offering is what, 5-10 minutes?
Not even that long.
Yeah. And to still be dedicated to practice, how'd you guys make money?
Okay. Now at that time, we all were living at home with our parents. So money really wasn't the drive, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you can focus on the passion itself.
The passion was like huge. We would stay up all night.
Do you know how much of a blessing that is?
Yeah.
Because at this time, you're headed out of high school.
Yeah, this is 16 years old.
Most children, black children in particular, by the age of 18, you gotta find your way.
Yep.
So the fact that your parents allowed you to stay.
Yeah.
And not just you, your friends.
My friends.
And say, look, this is our passion. We're gonna lock in. And they didn't force you into school or go to college or get a trade or a job. Or
I went to college. I ended up going to college, but it wasn't like a forced thing or whatnot. But it was like kudos to my parents, to my mom, really.
We're gonna dedicate this episode to you because you had a really good set of parents.
They created spaces. Even when we moved to a new home in South Holland, they dedicated the whole basement to me. And built a studio, built a soundproof studio, and and some of my friends who had nowhere to go sometimes, would be there all night. Their parents or their guardians would come and just check in, you know what I'm saying? And they knew that was a safe space. They created a safe space for me and my friends to grow and be able to play together and create and just be who we were at the time. And it just gave us time to focus on the passion, so when we actually got gigs and everything like that, we were so passionate about it. It was like, okay, we got to kill this. We gonna do our thing. So by the time we got a little bit older and started playing a little bit more, it was already in there. It's like we have put so much work into this that it's like we're not gonna lose.
Was that the basis of you finding your own sound and kind of being authentic to yourself? Because I have in my notes, and I should have asked you about the college thing, because you said when you were in college you stepped out of your shell. What was this shell that you were referring to? Because it seems like you said you were a leader. You always seem very self-assured as you're navigating this journey, even through the blues, even through only playing 2 minutes at offering. But what was the shell that you were boxed into that you felt like you had to come out of?
Well, I would say this. In high school, Now I'm on the mic, I'm talking, I'm singing, I'm hyping up the band, I'm hyping up the crowd and stuff like that. But that was not that person. I was really self-conscious. What I'm saying, I was kind of shy a lot. Like very, very, very shy. In high school, and to the point to a fault of like I used to be like, man, I need to snap out of it. What I'm saying? I want to be like everybody else is. Just
what got you over that though?
In college, when I got to college, really high school, I just didn't. I was ashamed to be like humorous and like I'm a very goofy individual. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of fun. But at those years, you kind of trying to fit in and be cool and smooth and stuff like that. Like while everybody listening to the new 50 Cent album, they riding around to that. I got a little stylistics playing real low in my car because I don't want nobody to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like and so that's just an example of like, man, I really want to. And so when college came around, it was like, okay, I really just told myself, look at myself in the mirror and like, I'm going to be all of me, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like, take it or leave it. It's like, okay, it's like, and it was confirmed with the new friends that I met in college. It's like, because they don't know me from back. So it's like, I have an opportunity to really
rebrand.
Rebrand. So, and that's what happened. And so I met so many people from all over the world that went to Columbia College. Shout out to Columbia. And and I just like, okay, I love being me. So
Columbia in Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Because it has. Did you major in music then?
It was music business.
Music business. Yeah. Because that whole school, to me, is dedicated to the arts anyway, and kind of pulling out the best of their students, whether it is in fashion or if they're artists, even musicians, commentators, etc. So I think you were really aligned with a good place for you to flourish in that way. Someone of your caliber that was already just had a natural talent. Yeah. Yeah.
Now here's the deal, like I only went to Columbia because I tell people this, I only went to Columbia because my ACT score was like a 14.
Stop it. I thought this was intentional.
No, and so they wouldn't, I was like, I didn't know where I'm supposed to go. I didn't really know anything about the college diaspora or whatnot, but I was like, okay, I got to go away. I got to go to U of I or something. And you needed like a 21 of some sort to ACT.
You did need a 21 at that time. I don't know what you need now.
Yeah, I don't know what you need now, but I had a 14 the first time and I had a 16. I took it the second time. So I'm like, yeah. So Columbia, I was like, Columbia College. Oh, you don't need none of that? Cool. And then I was like, oh, it's an art school? Cool. Oh, okay. I told my parents, I was like, yo, I found this school downtown called Columbia. I think I'm going to go there. And so that's where it came from.
Do you think it gave you what you needed, though, professionally to begin producing shows for major artists? Because that's what you do now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the teachers and the professors there are in it. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my favorite classes was urban inspirational music production, which was a class led by Donald Lawrence, gospel performing artist or whatever. And to be there in a room full of, I think it's maybe like 15 of us in the class, 15 to 20 of us in the class, and just every week being able to engage and work with him and pick his brain about stuff. And our final project was us putting on a show, a production. And he was hands-on, letting us know exactly like, okay, no, you want to have it like this. And he told me something that I'll never forget. Yeah. He said that if you make music for musicians, you will never survive. Because he said there are more regular people in the world than it is musicians.
That's true.
And I never forgot that. So even when I'm doing shows now and everything, I keep the regular person in mind.
Yes.
The normal everyday 9-to-5er who needs a night out, you know what I'm saying? And I've never forgotten that it's like, okay, yeah, I can do all the, figure out all the crazy drum fills and all that kind of stuff, but to satisfy the musician community, but that's never been my thing. I've always been about heartfelt music moment like driven music when it comes to, you know, the people. It's for the people.
Yeah, and you can tell the difference because I've been in one of your shows, and when you do it for the people, that's you get the response that you're looking for.
Yeah.
I have a musician friend, and he always said I had regular ears.
Yeah.
And us regular ears don't know if it's special or not.
I love the regular ears.
So we just know what feels good.
Yeah.
So if you can make us feel good on a Friday night,
Yeah.
you know, we
That's it.
locked in.
It's more y'all than the musicians. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's like, I think a lot of musicians miss that point because, I mean, let's be honest. We're in the age of the social media and the highlight reels and the, you know, and so when you're given that opportunity to play somewhere, the first thing you do, you set up your phone or your cameras and you want to show off your chops and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's between you and that phone. And you're missing the interaction of the people. And it's just like, I thrive in, you know, interacting with people, you know. So that's what I do. I try to reach their hearts.
So I want to talk a little bit about your family life.
Okay.
Because you said you ain't not improved because you married.
Yeah.
And I love that for you. How has being a husband and father changed the way you approach the drum kit or a production meeting? Does fatherhood make you a better leader?
Absolutely. You know, because...
In what way?
Well, I would say this, like, my kids, they inspire me every day, you know, and I have, like, my daughter, Brooklyn, she'll come to me and let me know that I'm doing an amazing job as a father. All of them don't come up there, but they, in their own way, they letting me know that I'm doing an amazing job as a leader of the household and things of that nature. So, you know, I equate all of that to energy. You know what I'm saying? The energy, the fuel that I need when I'm in a room full of, you know, other creatives and I have to come up with some type of performance or things. It's like, yo, I've been fueled from at home. Like, you know what I'm saying? The people that look up to me the most are my kids, and I don't take it for granted. So I would say they give me that extra oomph in life to be able to be that leader, you know, anywhere I go.
You put them all on instruments though, because I follow you on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's like you creating little mini yous.
Yeah.
Did they already have an instrument or something they were inclined to, or as a musician, you just started giving them things to try and kind of seeing what they gravitated to? How did you figure out?
Well, I put it like this: my oldest son, he's 16 now. Now, when he was born, I was 22, 23. I wanted to make an absolute mini me. I wanted him to do exactly what I wanted to do, what I was doing. And to be honest, you know, he really didn't. It was more like a chore to him. He's like, all right, cool. I mean,
I'll do it, but
I'll do it, but you know, I want to run around, I want to have fun and stuff. But I was looking at it as like, no, you finna sit right here. You're gonna sit here throughout all of my rehearsals. At that time, I was everywhere, moving around, didn't have no chill, and I'll just have him sit there and stuff like that, and where all the other kids trying to touch everything, he'd just be sitting there. But, you know, he knew how to play or whatnot. He was picking it up and stuff. But I could tell, you know, it's like, okay, he just kind of doing this because, you know.
You making him.
Yeah, but I can't. But so with the rest of my kids, I kind of like, you know, I introduced it softly. You know what I'm saying? And so just seeing if they like it. And my daughter, Brooklyn, she took a liking to playing drums, and you know, she really liked it. She'd be down there with me. I was like, okay, you really like this? Okay, cool. So I signed her up. You know, it takes a village.
Yes, it does.
You know what I'm saying? I signed her up for drum lessons with a community of other kids. You know what I'm saying? With one of my guys, Matthias Adams, and yeah, it's been great. So, and then my daughter Journey, she loves singing. You know what I'm saying? That's her thing. She loves to sing. And, you know, I had to realize that that's something that she likes to do. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm setting up things where they can, you know, get more into music and things like that nature. I'm just supporting. I'm not forcing none of them to do any. This ain't easy.
Yeah, it's not an easy life because you really
you
gotta have a passion for it to stick to it. Is your wife musically inclined as well?
She could sing. She if she was sitting right here right now, she'd be like, I don't, you know. But yeah, she could sing. I think she know how to sing, but she wouldn't say that she's a musician.
Got it.
But you know, she's a lover of music, a supporter of music, and she understands what it should sound like that. But I mean, it's been singers that I've played for who don't sound
as good as her.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't just saying that because I love her. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth, you know. But yeah, she knows about some music though.
Yeah, I feel like musicians attract other people that are similar, and it just makes sense because now you have somebody already built in that kind of understands.
Yeah.
And as the babies are picking up instruments, they're more inclined to support the talent in the same. So it's just being equally kind of yoked. Yeah.
I keep it open. I was like, hey, look.
How'd you guys meet?
Who, me and my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, we actually we go to the same church. We went to the same church at the time. But the thing is, we met in 2015. Yeah. We met at the end of that. And the thing is like, she had been going to that church since she was like 7. We're 9 years apart. I'm 9 years older. And she had been going there since she was like, and I had never seen her. And so what ended up happening is like one day I'm running late for rehearsal. I'm running late for which I really don't do too much. And I walk through a different door, which I don't do at all, even to this day, same church. And I walk across the sanctuary, which I don't ever do. You know, and she was sitting there.
I'm hearing a theme here.
Right. This is just that day. And she was
Okay.
sitting there at the pew because she's about to join the choir and whatnot. So she filling out paperwork.
Okay.
And I'm walking up to her and I'm walking, I'm like, oh, I know her. And so I'm walking, I'm getting closer and I'm like, oh, I don't know her. Then now I was like, all right, now I gotta introduce myself.
Because now it's weird.
Yeah, so I introduce myself and say who I am, and then I go into the musician rehearsal, and I stop the musician rehearsal with a musician. I was like, hey, yo, who was that? Or whatnot. And so that's what kicked it off. She joined the choir, and we started talking after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard similar stories with other musicians, and it's just interesting how things just align that are supposed to. And it clearly was organic and outside of your control.
Yeah.
Because you did everything that you don't normally do.
Right, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I do want to talk about you as a band leader. You're responsible for other people's livelihood and the energy of a room. What is the hardest part about being the maestro that people don't see from the audience?
Trusting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Trusting that what you have is good enough to present sometimes. And, you know, sometimes you can be in a situation where it's like, okay, like, all right, is this it? Like, do we have, will this moment really, you know, go over as it is on paper? Because I like to write things down and whatnot. So, like me having the responsibility of knowing, like, okay, when we're at a gig, that gig is over with in my head. We're preparing for the next call, you know what I'm saying, to keep the ball rolling. So I'm the one who has the business cards and the business sense of everything. I'm the one when everybody is chilling and hanging out. Once everybody done, I'm the one that's working the room and making sure people are taken care of and feeling good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always thinking ahead. Once we're there, this is over with, you know. And so I take that into consideration as being a leader of my band or any band or my productions that I do. Is like, okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next thing.
Do you ever take a moment to just take it all in and like turn that off for a little bit and like celebrate the moment? Yep.
You know what? That's a great question. I mean, all your questions good.
Thank you.
But to celebrate the moment, yeah, you know, I started this. I'm bringing this all together. I started going to therapy in year 2018. You know, as a musician, as a new husband and father. It was just a lot going on at the time, and you know, it was just like, okay, I got to figure this out in my mind of how am I gonna be this person. And through therapy, I learned that I need to live in the moment a whole lot more. You know,
Tell me about that.
Yeah, oftentimes, like even having when I had my son, when I was 22, P3, we call him P3. I was trying to figure it out. You know, I was trying to figure out how to be a dad and all that kind of stuff. So like, when I had kids later, my wife would be like, "Hey, do you remember when this? Like, how was he on this?" And I'd be like, I don't know. I was just trying to figure. I wasn't in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, when I started doing therapy, he taught me, like, yo, hey, you need to live in the moment a whole lot more and cherish moments. You know, he described it to like, you ever had a piece of Starburst and you know you got the whole roll of Starburst when you're a kid, you could just
Throw them back.
eat them. He said one day take one, unwrap it, listen to the sound of it, take it out. Like all of these are moments. Like when you put it in the taste of it, you know what I'm saying, savor it, you know what I'm saying, see how does it make you feel right then. It's like, and it was just an example of life. Like live in the moments, appreciate the moments. Thank God that you have these moments to share, you know. So it just opened up my awareness a whole lot more. So yeah, I'm an advocate for mental health. So yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up because it was a time that, especially among Black men, that was very taboo. And I feel like we're coming into a day and age that men are being more open and receptive.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that because you're right, transitioning from being a musician to now a new father to a new husband. Sometimes you need a little support.
Single musician.
Single musician. You were a single musician.
Yeah.
Hey, what was life on the road like?
Yeah,
I mean,
all of that. Yeah.
all the things,
Yeah.
right? And then you're still a parent. You're a single parent.
Yeah.
And then now you're trying to be this husband.
Yeah.
Those are all different hats.
Yeah.
And you do need to tap into something foundational. So you mentioned therapy. Did you have any other male mentors that kind of helped you along your way? I know you mentioned your father.
Yeah, my father, my brother-in-law, shout out to Big Reese. Maurice, he was always an advocate and kept me. I watched everything that he did, you know, growing up in the household and stuff like that. He had been around since I was in second grade. So, you know what I'm saying, I looked up to him a whole lot. But yeah, like between him and my father, those are like and my uncle, Bishop Aaron Holmes Jr., like those were like the top people who I kind of looked up to, you know what I'm saying?
What are you doing now to be intentional about savoring those moments?
Like just to be intentional, I am really, really trying to like not put too much pressure on myself. You know, and, you know, as musicians, as creatives, you know, the times are steadily going and you're trying to keep up with the times. You're trying to keep up with the fads and stuff like that. And you have to center yourself and know that what you're doing is your walk. And what you have to give is absolutely enough. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, I probably can't do what this next drummer can do technically, or, you know, I probably can't sing what this guy can sing, but what I have to give, it's enough.
I love that. What I have to give is enough. And I think that leans into where you are now with not having to prove anything.
Right, yeah.
Those two things kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
When you think about your journey and just the evolution of you, do you think that you're currently living in your purpose and calling?
I absolutely feel like I am living in my purpose and my calling. I think that it was predestined. I think God put me in this position. The highs, the lows, the ins and outs, and everything, the ups, the downs, whatever you want to call it. He put me in this position so that I can inspire, uplift, motivate, in the hearts and minds of my fellow peers or generations to come or whatnot like that. I feel like that this is my purpose, and it's not just me being a musician. It's the man who I am, the man who He made me to be. You know, the honest person who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Most people follow me on social media. I'm an open book. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, there's rules, unspoken rules to being a musician on social media, the things you have to do, the things you have to say, things you have, it's like, it's not written down, but it's like, I don't like any of that. I am who I am. I promote what I feel like promoting, and I do what I feel like God has put into my spirit. And, you know, if it's a laugh, if it's something serious, if it's some church, if we at the club or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just who I am. And so being honest with who I am has taken me a long way. And I'll say this, I don't mean to make it too long, but I'll say this, it's been times that artists have been referred to me, you know, it's like, or I've been referred to them.
Yeah.
As like, okay, call my boy Paul to do this. And they hit me up, and the first thing they'll say, like, first of all, you're an amazing person. Like
why this surprise?
Because, like, you know, I promote family, I'm honest with who I am. I if you look at my social media and everything, it's just like,
do musicians have the reputation of being terrible people?
That's what it is.
Okay,
yep.
okay.
Musicians.
I was like, is that?
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at.
Stereotypically, I wouldn't say terrible, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, it's a certain, you know, it's a certain swag that musicians carry, or stereotypically, you see these, that's, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, like, I don't do the stuff. I'm not a part of that. So I just kind of like, you know, I have things on there that's not music related.
Right.
You know, some people, you don't know nothing about their life or anything like that. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, I think it's a breath of fresh air for an artist who's looking for a musician who is pretty decent. And it's like, okay, and they come across just regular life stuff, you know, me on the grill, that's, you know, something I love to do, or me just hanging out with the kids or chilling out, you know, with the homies or whatnot, and just giving life, like living life, you know what I'm saying? So I think it helps me out a lot.
You're getting ready to venture into a new project of your own music.
Yeah.
Producing and writing. Tell us about that new transition, because now that's just a completely different playing field from backing other artists.
Right.
And now you're for real in the forefront.
Yeah.
How are you prepping for that change?
You know what? It's interesting. I've been prepping for it and not even knowing that I've been prepping for it. You know, as you know, I played at the Lazy Bird from 2018 up until last year or whatnot, where we ended it and everything like that. And before then, I was never a front person on a mic, or I've never been the host. You know what I'm saying? I never done that. You know what I'm saying? Even when we started it, it was like, yo, we're gonna have to find some singers and stuff. We was like, hey, how about we sing? You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like it was, you know, God ordained or something, and that he put me in that position, you know, for those 7 years of being in there to build that confidence to this point. Because he knew that at this point, it's like, okay, I'm going to have some experience. And so that experience, you know, gave me the drive to want to do this. It was like, okay, I'm inspired by Chicago artists, you know, and some of my peers, and just seeing their drive on their original music. I want that for myself.
Yeah.
I long for people to experience what I have to say, you know, as a musician, as a singer, and the message that I want to give from my heart. You know, it's legacy music, and so I've been prepping for this longer than I even imagined that I have been.
Yeah. So you're ready for what's next?
I'm ready.
I always like ending my interviews by giving my guests the opportunity to like speak life into the audience, because Crossroads Callings is, like I shared with you like during the break, that it's testimony service. People are sharing their journeys, their ups and downs that led to their purpose and calling. What is something that, like, when you think back to high school Paul who just got booed, what is something that he needed to hear that you can now give to someone else in this interview?
Wow. Number one, I know I've said it already, but you are enough. What you have and what you're equipped with is enough. And it's not, the character of a man is not determined by his pitfalls, but by his pivots. you know, and it's like, okay, yes, you're not going to get it right all the time as a musician, as a man, as a woman, as a human being in this world. But the way you pivot and move and make that happen, that shows the true faith and the true tenacity of a person. So I'm an advocate of just like, yeah, like let's go through it. If you're gonna go and hit the valley, let's go up. We gotta go. You gotta hit them hills though.
Yeah.
Let's climb. Let's go. Let's work. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta put that work in, keep God in it, and you know what I'm saying, and just go in faith.
I love that. Thank you so much, Paul, for sitting down with me. Anything you want to promote?
Like as she said, I am working on my project. I don't have a release date yet. I am doing a lot of shows this year under my umbrella, Paul Hall Presents. So if you ever see Paul Hall Presents, that means you're going to get an amazing show.
It is amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Yes. We just did an Aretha Franklin tribute show back in April. Sold out at the
That was you?
That was me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
See, you know what I'm saying? in April, and you know what I'm saying, I have a bunch of other things that I'm working on, and that's in the works. I'm working with South Holland, the village of South Holland. We're quarterly putting together shows and to bring the community back together and things of that nature. So I'm so elated to be chosen as one of the curators for the events that are to come in the South Suburbs, because we need that as well. So So just be on the lookout at Paul Hall, at Yours Paul Hall. That's my handle on Instagram. So, and we're going from there.
And for the listeners, if anything in Paul's story spoke to you, please reach out, drop a comment, make sure you follow him on social media. When I tell you, I celebrated one of my birthdays at Lazy Bird with Paul and his band. It is probably one of the best birthdays I ever had. Wow. And I wrote this rave review, and when I tell you that review got thousands of likes and comments, it's so sad that you're not there anymore, but I wish you the best on your journey and what's next, because it showed that you had your season of preparation. 7 years, that's divine timing, and now it's time for you to branch off. So we wish you the best here at Crossroads and Callings. Please also follow us on YouTube, Substack, and listen to this episode on wherever you get your podcasting needs, because we are posted everywhere, and we would love for you to continue to support our mission here to share good stories with authentic people and have your bi-weekly dose of hope and inspiration. I also want to thank the National Public Housing Museum for being an amazing partner throughout the Crossroads and Calling journey. So if you find yourself in the Chicagoland area, please pay them a visit. They would love to host you. And on that note, please use your crossroads to find your calling.